You are Locked On Jets POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports New York on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Brady Cook and the New York Jets offense did a whole lot of nothing as they go into New Orleans, and they got cooked by the New Orleans Saints by a final of 29-6. Welcome into the Jets POSTCAST here live on the Locked On Jets YouTube channel and in the Locked On Jets podcast feed, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network. I'm your POSTCAST host, Chris Schubert, lifelong Jets fan, here with you after each and every Jets game throughout the season to recap what we just witnessed. And it was a whole lot of ugly today for the New York Jets. The box score, the statistics, they tell a story, but watching this game, it was a rough one. The Jets offensively, nothing. 6 points, but it was a bad day for Brady Cook. We'll get into that as well. A change on the defensive side of things this week for the Jets. We'll recap how Chris Harris did in his first day as the defensive coordinator for the Jets. There were some things that I liked. And just 2 games to go for the Jets in this season. And we'll give you an update on where things stand for the 2026 NFL Draft. But we start with an overall terrible day for Brady Cook in his second NFL start. The Jets said they wanted to evaluate him. Well, they got a very interesting evaluation point today.
This is what you'll be talking about.
This was a rough day for Brady Cook. I think a lot of the positives that you saw in last week's game with Cook weren't there to be seen today. It felt like, we'll have to see what the All-22 shows, but it felt like he was not comfortable taking shots down the field. Remember last week, a couple of turnovers in the red zone, a couple of turnovers with down the field balls. So I don't know if there was an emphasis put this week on him not taking those deep shots, or if internally he felt like he was a little too deep shot happy and potentially trying to throw into those tight windows. So he kind of put a governor on himself, but he was very, very timid in this game. And unfortunately, that led to a lot of pressure and a lot of sacks. The final stat line for Brady Cook, 8 sacks for 57 yards of loss on those 8 sacks. And, you know, there are going to be some people that look at that, want to put the blame on the offensive line. He had a quarterback today that was just holding on to the ball too long and just didn't get rid of it, didn't want to take those deep shots. And listen, your offensive line has to do a decent job of protecting you and giving you time. They can't protect all day long. They can't protect for 5-6 seconds for you to wait for the exact perfect read. And listen, this is an undrafted free agent making his second NFL start. This was not going to be perfect. And after last week, it's not like the Jets felt like they had their franchise quarterback. I said on last week's postcast, felt like the positives for Brady Cook is he looked like he could be a pretty decent backup. There were some positive signs, getting the ball out quick, utilizing the quick game, getting Breece Hall involved, right? Lots of positives from his performance. Just took a bunch of steps backwards this week. And I thought the Jets did a nice job early trying to get the quick game, right? Quick plays to Isaiah Williams, trying to get Breece Hall involved. And it's becoming a theme, not just this year, but in recent years, basically since he's gotten to the team. You have a broadcaster during the game after a Breece Hall catch and run on a little quick pass out of the backfield mention, you know, the Jets should find a way to get Breece Hall more involved in the passing game. We've been saying this for 3-4 years now, right? I mean, this is just the name of the game with Breece Hall. Everybody wants him to be more involved in the passing game. Everybody says that he should be more involved in the passing game. For whatever reason, each week rolls by, he's not more involved in the passing game. Just feels like something that this regime, past coaching regimes, just haven't been able to figure out. Different offensive coordinators, multiple different offensive coordinators haven't been able to figure out a way to get Breece Hall more involved into the passing game, because he is a real weapon out there. He is a dual threat. He can run it. He can catch the ball to the backfield, catch and run, get the ball to him in space. And that's your way of keeping him involved if teams are stacking the box and taking away the running element. Just feels like the Jets don't have the ability, don't know what it is, but they just can't seem to get a good game plan for him in that regard. And just, you had a mess today on offense. The sacks were bad. You had some penalties that killed. You have an undrafted free agent quarterback rookie. You can't be committing penalties that put him in 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, 3rd and long. So you're just asking way too much. This would be asking too much if it was Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor in the game for the Jets at quarterback, but especially when you have a undrafted rookie free agent, making his second start for this team. It's late in the season. Don't know how much of the offense he's actually been given to work with. And so now you're asking him and Tanner Engstrand to draw up whatever play they have on 3rd and 15 when they probably don't have the full complement of the offense in his second week as the starter. So it's just you kill any potential momentum. And they had a couple. There was a 3rd and inches QB sneak where picked up 2.5 yards. Simpson gets a chop block penalty, gets knocked back 15. Now it's 3rd and 15, 3rd and 16. You're not going to stand a chance. And it just stalled any momentum that the Jets had in this game. And the defense, which we'll get to here in a second, can only do so much. The offense had to at some point convert, and they just couldn't. And the numbers are ugly. I mean, it's 22 of 35 for Cook, 188 yards, no touchdowns, did throw that 1 interception, also lost a fumble. So you had the 2 turnovers and the 8 sacks. It was just a bad day. Pocket presence, awareness, decision-making, just not a good day at the office. Would not be graded very well if we were giving out grades for Brady Cook. Offensively, 195 yards of offense for the New York Jets. They just couldn't move the ball. And when they were moving the ball, they would commit a penalty that would completely stall out the drive. So it was just a bad day. The 8 sacks were bad. Let's see what the final stats look like on the penalty side of things. 7 penalties for 54 yards. Just killer. Just absolutely destroyed drives for this offense. The defense had a new defensive coordinator, and at least in the early part of the game, it looked like a much different group. We will talk about that, and there are 2 games to go for the New York Jets. We'll let you know who they have next coming up and what the draft positioning looks like coming out of today's game, because it did, if there is a silver lining, although in a 29-6 blowout loss to a 4-win football team on the other side, now 5-win football team, I don't know if you want a ton of silver linings because there's a lot of ugly in this one, but the Jets, at least as of this moment, have their draft position improved. So we'll touch on all of that here on the other side. NFL Sundays, they move fast. One big play and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds. Every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift. A receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, and every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, only 2 more Jets games to go. Visit FanDuel.com and place your live NFL bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Car shopping, it should feel exciting, not confusing. And with Car Gurus, you get the confidence you deserve. They cut through all the noise so you can actually see the best deals on the cars you want. Because when it comes to a big purchase, you deserve the best deal. And Car Gurus makes the whole process simple by giving you real information, real deal ratings, and more listings than anyone else. So you can shop the way you want. You can use Car Gurus deal ratings to compare cars quickly without having to guess whether the price will be fair. You'll love being able to filter by everything: mileage, trim, features. So you're only seeing the cars that actually fit what you need. Price drop alerts, a lifesaver. You'll get notified the second a car you're looking at becomes a better deal. Having verified dealerships and upfront pricing makes the whole thing feel transparent and stress-free. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships for a transparent and hassle-free buying process. With over 4 million listings, the most of any major online automotive marketplace, you'll always find the best deal. Shop the way you want with the tools, data, and unbiased ratings that make it easy. Buy or sell your next car today at cargurus.com. That's CARGURUS.com. Cargurus.com. Back here on the Locked On Jets postcast on the Locked On Jets YouTube channel and in the Locked On Jets podcast feed. I'm your postcast host, Chris Schubert, here with you to recap all things New York Jets as we break down this 29-6 loss for the New York Jets. And with the loss, they fall to now 3-12 on the season. I am one of the people, you've heard me say it here on the postcast in the past, I go into every one of these games wanting the Jets to win, especially when you have a team in this Jets team with a regime that I think is still under evaluation. Now, they're going to come back next season, but we're still trying to figure out what the Jets have in a head coach, what they have in certain position coaches, right? How they manage game situations, how they manage game planning, how they manage challenges in the course of the game. You want to know if the Jets have a coach that will be able to push the right buttons when we feel like the roster is in the right spot. And with 5 first-round picks over the next 2 seasons, the Jets should have the ability to get the right talent in the building to try to help this team win games. But you still need the right coaching staff. So I want to know. And so far this season, there's been a lot more question marks. So I go into every one of these games rooting for this team to win. And I guess the silver lining is when they lose, did they improve their draft position in the loss? Well, we can say the answer to that is yes, because Tennessee beat Kansas City earlier today. New Orleans with the win, obviously, create some distance there. So as things sit right now, the Jets have the 4th overall pick in the 2026 NFL draft. They were 3-12. They were in front of Tennessee. They are right now tied with Cleveland. At record-wise, Cleveland has the tiebreaker over the New York Jets because of strength of schedule. The Giants at 2-13 with their loss today. The Raiders will play later on today. They're at 2-12 right now. With a Raiders win, that would put the Jets up at the number 3 spot. But as of this moment, the Jets have the number 4 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Let's talk about the defense, because on the defensive side, there was a new coordinator in town, Chris Harris, taking over for Steve Wilkes, who was let go by Aaron Glenn earlier this week. And I will say the one area of improvement from this Jets defense this week, they started faster. Turnover on the first possession of the game for the Saints. The Jets forced a fumble. It's only their 4th turnover created defensively. So 3 coming into the day, 1 in this game. And they started fast. They started with just more energy, I thought. They were rallying to the football well. A blitz got home and created pressure on the quarterback. And they didn't dig the offense an early hole, which has been kind of the theme the last couple of weeks. If you look up and it's the second quarter and the Jets offense down 14, 21 points, right? Down multiple touchdowns before really you've been able to sit down and enjoy your snack or your lunch while you're watching the Jets play. So it was a little different. The Jets were in this game early, but unfortunately, and this is kind of a throwback to the Robert Saleh era, a little bit before Aaron Rodgers, the defense can only do so much, and this group is way less talented than those other defenses. So as the game wears on, they just falter. They just don't have the guys right now to be able to stay in this game. And the Saints offense, they were able to hit some big plays, and once they broke this game open, it was over. And you had a team in New Orleans that threw the ball a lot in this game. Tyler Shuck dropped back. I mean, what did it end up being? It was 40 at one point late in the third quarter. 49 dropbacks for Tyler Shuck, and the Jets got home 3 times. They just didn't get enough pressure. That's kind of been the theme all season long of you got Jermaine Johnson, you have Will McDonald. Why is this team not being able to get consistent enough pressure? When they blitz, they can't get home. When they rush 4, they can't get home. It's just not consistent enough for a team that's supposed to have some decent talent in that department. And you let Tyler Shuck and Taysom Hill even throw a touchdown in this one and kind of pick you apart. And so just as this game faded on, the Jets defense faded with it. And that, unfortunately, was the thing that doomed this team in. 2 games to go for the New York Jets. It's 2 divisional clashes. They will take on the New England Patriots next week. They will take on the Buffalo Bills the week after. And these games matter for both of these teams in the AFC East. Both of these teams are also fighting for playoff positioning for the team that doesn't win the AFC East. So these games matter for both of these teams. So you're going to get the best effort from both New England and Buffalo here in the final 2 weeks of the season. Can the Jets match that effort? They did not have that effort as this game wore on, and they kind of got embarrassed. Maybe not kind of. They definitely got embarrassed by a 4-win football team on the road this week. And the Jets are now 1-6 away from their own building today, now 3-12 on the season. And as we mentioned, now have the number 4 pick in the NFL draft. So again, maybe the silver lining coming out of this one, but you had an offense that couldn't do a whole lot of anything. And if they're going to continue to roll out Brady Cook, I don't know how much better it gets when you play New England and Buffalo the next 2 weeks. If it looks, New Orleans is not that great of a football team. New Orleans is not that great of a defense. You should have been able to move the football here today, and you didn't. And that's a worrying sign with 2 games to go. So don't expect the Jets to win either of these last 2 games. So you're going to go into the offseason 3-14. You're going to go into the offseason 5 straight losses. 7 of 8 to end the season. So not the high watermark that you want to be going into the offseason with. And this was a tough one. Just the offense couldn't do anything. 6 points, the 2 field goals. Any drive where they had positive momentum got stalled out by penalties. And Brady Cook, I thought, regressed in a big way. The decision-making, the pocket awareness, the pocket presence just was not there, and it made for a very rough day. Now, I did see some people say this was, one of the worst quarterback performances they've seen. We've been through a lot as Jets fans. I think we've seen worse quarterback performances than this, but we have seen, similar breadcrumbs of an offense not able to move the football and drives constantly stalling out and a quarterback taking bad sacks. That I will give you. It's looked very similar to some bad quarterback performances that we've seen, but it's just kind of become the standard, unfortunately, for this franchise over the last couple of years. It's going to do it for us here on the Jets Postcast. Not much more to really add. I thought the defense was better early, but kind of fell into some of those same habits late with the big plays. Offensively, it was just bad from the word go, and it was a huge step backwards from what we saw from Brady Cook in this offense, albeit it wasn't great last week against the Jags, but it somehow got worse from that performance last week. We are back next Sunday to break things down as the Jets will take on the Patriots at home, their final home game of the season. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that you are notified when we go live after each and every Jets game throughout the course of the season. Only 2 more of these to go. John will have you covered the rest of the week to recap what happened, his thoughts on this loss for the New York Jets, and he'll get you ready for Jets Patriots all throughout the week. The Jets offense, whole lot of nothing as they go to New Orleans and they lose 29-6, but their draft stock does improve. Have a good one, Jets fans.